is how it is the modus operandi. It is the MO of the left today, of the America-hating, freedom-despising left, to make everything that is bad good, which is why I have to be deemed a hater by that liberal schmuck from Connecticut. Because I'm standing up for the red, white, and blue. I'm standing up for the troops in uniform. I'm trying to offer aid and comfort and encouragement to a member of the armed forces. That makes me bad. That made me a racist. Did you hear him? That made me a hater. Because I said nice things to Ernest, a 22-year vet of the 20-year vet of the U.S. Marine Corps in the first hour. And then all I hear is coming out of your mouth is hatred. Well, I have to be made into a hater. Everything that is good has to be made into something that is bad and indefensible. So attach the words racist, bigot, homophobe, whatever you have to it. Hater, that's a new one now, hater. And there you have it. We must be demonized here, folks. Now, remember, I have always told you, and I have never stopped telling you, that it is the goal, it is the aim of the left to see us dead.
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. And it absolutely will not stop, ever, until you are dead.
These people have an agenda here, and it is the elimination of their opposition. This is the amazing thing about this. We as conservatives, you think about that word, if you're a conservative, you are trying to conserve something. And what we're trying to conserve is the traditions, the culture, the soul, if you will, the very essence of what was the United States, of what those wonderful men, the founding fathers, left to us. We're trying to conserve it. And we're the ones that are, they're mean, they're hateful, they're spiteful, racist, bigot, homophobe, sexist, whatever. We're the ones that are attacked here for trying to preserve the greatest, freest, most empowering nation in the history of the galaxy. Go beyond human history. In all of known history, this country has done more good for more tens and hundreds of millions of people than any force in the history of the world. And yet, as we try to conserve it, we are lampooned, we are made fun of, we are told that we're a bunch of genocidal maniacs, when in fact we're the ones that are trying to prevent it. If you listen to the left here, and I was talking to the Reverend earlier about this today, would you have imagined in September of 2001, would you have imagined that 6 years after that attack, coming up on 6 years now, would you have imagined that the Main Vein Press Corps and the liberal Democrats, liberal America-hating, yes, I am questioning your patriotism, Democrats, would have succeeded in convincing a resolute, resigned to stamp out fascism or Islamic fascism, American public, that they were the problem, that we deserved to get attacked, that the enemy that attacked us can't be beaten, and that we must admit defeat, and we must not commit our troops and our resources to that cause that we all so raucously and patriotically embraced in September of 2001. Would you have believed that they would have been able, that they would have succeeded? And they have. They have succeeded in convincing a ruling majority of people that we're the ones that are at fault here. It is the U.S. that has caused all this. We brought all this terrorism to the world. Would you have believed that? That is precisely what has happened, and that is exactly what we're dealing with here today. And the only man in the country that refuses to read the opinion polls and sticks by the same thing he's been saying since September the 11th, shortly after 9 a.m. on the East Coast, September the 11th, 2001, is George W. Bush. He's the only one. He certainly has nothing to gain. I keep hearing it. Well, Bush has got to preserve his legacy. His legacy means doo-doo if there is no country that is preserved. If there's no country to celebrate that legacy in, then why would he want to preserve it? And I'm telling you here, it is beyond imagination, or it was beyond imagination in September of 2001 that would have happened. But that's what has happened. And many of you listening to this program right now have gone along with it. You have bought it. You have bought it hook, line, and sinker. We're the problem. Bin Laden and the al-Qaeda bad guys can't be beaten. We're the ones that screwed up the Middle East. We need to get the hell out of there and forget about it. Doesn't matter what they do to us ever again. We know that we can't beat them. And if we go over there and try again, we're just going to screw it up even more. I mean, the very idea that this country and its ideas and the concept that it was founded upon individual, limited self-government, rugged individualism, and a belief in something higher than yourself, a belief in something higher than the next iPod purchase or the next Fox News opinion dynamic poll, a belief that you could be a force for good, a belief that liberty in and of itself is an empowerment and has freed hundreds of millions of people from the shackles of tyranny, which it has. The idea that there's something wrong with that has got to end. That's what the communists think, folks. That's what the enemy thinks. And you people have got to wake up and stop thinking like them and stop believing the propaganda that their prophets put out there in the guise of these opinion polls and in the guise of these people that go on talk shows like this and say things like that. Genocide George. I mean, my Lord. These people are dangerous, folks. They are dangerous. They are a threat to the survival of limited self-government. You see the disdain that this Congress and that these Democrats have, the joy with which they thumb their nose at the separation of powers. Bush doesn't have executive authority to talk to Karl Rove about those U.S. attorneys. Bring Karl Rove in here. I want his head. You see the disdain. I'll go to Syria if I want. Who cares if we have a president? I make the foreign policy. You see Hillary running around demanding that if this president won't get out of the way, then we'll make him get out of the way. And I have said this, and I have warned you people about it in earnest. You're playing with fire. There will come a day when there will be a Democrat president who will be in the right and who will need the support of the American people and who will need a Congress that's going to stick by its limitations, its constitutional limitations. And now that we are in the practice here and that we are actually seeing those limitations just cast asunder here, this is not good and it's got to stop. And the president needs to get more forceful on this. Thomas Sowell today writes this. Dr. Sewell, one of the most brilliant conservative minds of our day, thank the Lord he can still put pen to paper, wrote this. Until Nancy Pelosi, Democrats Congressman Tom Lantos, who was a member of the delegation that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is leading to Syria, put the mission clearly when he said, quote, we have an alternative democratic foreign policy, end quote. I'm going to stop right there. Before I go on, read the Constitution. Read the debate about it. Go ahead. Go back in 1787. Read all the floor debates. Read the Federalist Papers. There was a separation of powers, and the only foreign policy power that the Congress has is to ratify treaties and to confirm the Secretary of State. That's the extent of it. That's all they're allowed to do. That's all they were ever intended to do. The rest of it rests with the executive branch. It does not rest with the Congress, and it never has, folks. Never. Democrats can have any foreign policy they want, says Thomas Sowell, if and when they are elected to the White House. Until Nancy Pelosi came along, it was understood by all that we had only one president at a time. And, like him or not, he alone had the constitutional authority to speak for this country to foreign nations, especially in wartime. So much hate has been hyped against George W. Bush that anything that is done against him is unlikely to be questioned in most of the media. But whatever passing damage is being done to George W. Bush is a relatively minor concern compared to the lasting damage that is being done to the presidency as an institution that will still be here when George W. Bush is gone. Once it has become accepted that it is all right to violate both the laws and the traditions of this nation, and to